here's a withdrawal strategy, and Carl is just speaking in bullet points, so that's fine. 5 years in cash and a bond, other money in stock. So he's got, I assume, he has expenses that he needs for 5 years in cash and bonds, other money's in stock. At the end of the year, he'll replenish the cash and bonds if the market is up. If the market is down, he'll wait. What do you think?
Yeah, okay. So this is a classic time segmentation strategy with a 5-year fixed income bucket. And with annual checking to see, should I, so I've got 5 years of bonds, cash and bonds. After 1 year, I've spent a rung of that ladder, and now I have 4 years left. Do I want to replenish it back out to 5 years or not? And then the basic idea is if markets are doing well, or is the wording here, if the markets, if the markets are doing well, I replenish. If the markets are not doing well, I don't replenish. Yeah, that's classic time segmentation. You could, there's a lot of different ways you could decide whether to replenish the bond ladder. The critical path that Alex mentioned is the more classic. That would be the asset dedication approach. You could also do a more simplified, if the market was up last year, I'll replenish this year. If the market was down last year, I won't replenish this year. What I talked about in Retirement Planning Guidebook was I looked at a bunch of different strategies, and a strategy that seems to work as well as anything, but it's quite simple. It would be a cousin of the critical path idea, but it's when I retire, I'm going to write down my investment balance, whatever it is. And then I don't have to inflation adjust that number or anything. I just remember, okay, at retirement, I had $643,000. Then in the future, when it comes time to decide when I want to take in this case, whether I want to replenish the ladder, if my portfolio balance is higher than when it started, I'll take some of that surplus and go ahead and replenish the ladder. If my remaining portfolio balance is below that initial starting amount, then I won't replenish the bond ladder. And that gives more opportunity for the portfolio to grow and recover so that in the future you can then replenish the ladder. If time segmentation is your style, that's a perfectly viable retirement income approach. It does rely on the idea that you're kind of generally comfortable. Markets will grow over time. So if I can just buy myself some time for the portfolio, I want to do so, and I believe the portfolio will recover. I've got a 5-year window, which may be 4 years at this point, but I'm expecting markets to recover at some point. Now, it does imply that as your portfolio is going down, you are starting to invest more aggressively overall because you've got your growth portfolio and you have your bond ladder. So as the bond ladder piece gets closer to 0 years, you're all growth portfolio at that point. So behaviorally, that's a consideration. To the extent that this strategy works, it's because it actually has you getting more aggressive when markets are not doing as well. And historically, if markets haven't been doing well, they tend to recover at some point. So that can work out for you. But you have to be comfortable with that kind of psychology of, I'm not going to allocate into bonds when markets are down. I'm going to stay the course with my growth portfolio with the hope that it will recover in time to replenish my bonds at a later point. But yeah, that's time segmentation. That's a viable retirement income approach. If you take the RISA, and especially if your style is time segmentation or close to the border to time segmentation, I don't see any problem with looking at that kind of an approach for building your retirement income strategy.